How's it going tonight?
Salut tout le monde.
So we're going to do the first part of the Q&A with Bertrand Hebert. We're going to do it in English so everybody can understand. So Bert, to start off, how did you get involved in the wrestling business?
I mean, I was the correspondent for Pro Wrestling Illustrated for Montreal in the early 80s, and from there I was able to connect with the promotion in Lanaudière, Lutte Lanaudière, that I rebaptized NCW, or Northern Championship Wrestling. So there's a few fans from back in the days here.
Yeah.
So from there I became the booker and the promoter, and I also did some referee, and I was a manager also. So that was the early start. I did that for about 8 years. Then I worked for Paul Ledoux, FLQ, and I worked with Jacques Rougeau as well for International Wrestling in 2000 and different things of that nature.
Why are you smiling so much in Jacques Rougeau?
I'm trying to be nice. I'm a diplomat.
I'm going to tell Jacques we're cutting him down.
Never. That's my partner.
True, man. We're not getting that tonight, but yeah.
Can you tell us your first meeting with Mr. Pat Patterson?
Well, I mean that's really fun, because when we did the TOW wrestling with Sylvain Grenier and Marc Blondin, we were getting that pilot for RDS television, and they involved Pat because Sylvain was like a son for Pat, and Marc had worked with Pat for a long time. So they brought Pat in for a meeting, for basically booking meeting. So we went over everything. And at that time, we just had wrote the first book, Mad Dogs, Midgets, and Screwjobs. And in that book, Pat really liked what we wrote about him.
Mm-hmm.
And his story was, they want me to write a book, but I fired the first writer.
Okay.
And I don't really like the second one they assigned to me. So that stayed like that, and that's the first time we met. And then, he came in, and I actually produced Pat Patterson for the brunch segment that we did on French television for the pilot. So that was amazing. And from there, he told me basically, okay, I'm going to give you a name so that you can be the writer. So that took forever. Basically, you guys probably know Titanstein. So they told me, well, we're bringing you in for an interview, and we'll make the decision this week. So they flew me to Titan Tower to do the interview with Kevin Dunn about doing the book with Pat. And okay, this week we'll have a decision. So 7 months later, someone called me, and they had me do another interview, and then I got the job.
Okay.
But I got the job, but Pat called me first, who told me I was getting the job. So it was kind of weird. From there, it was a fantastic experience to work with him, because he didn't want to have a writer that would just, do one interview and then make the rest up.
Yeah.
So we worked together 6 months. 14 different interview sessions. And basically what's not in the book is what Pat didn't remember. Okay. So it was amazing, and it was before he started to lose a lot of his memories. So we were able still to get a lot of good stuff, and very interesting story. And after that, we traveled the world promoting the book. We did the big event in New York, but we went to Minneapolis together. We went to England, and we did the first Chris Jericho cruise. So
okay, yeah.
It was quite the experience.
Yep.
What's your best Pat Patterson story?
I mean, traveling with Pat was an experience. One of his favorite is going through the airport, and then woof woof, and then he's like looking for where's the dog? I heard a dog, and he's getting like 1, 2, 3 people involved in the where's the dog, and you're like because he's not doing it once but multiple times. So that's the classic, but and he loved each time we were like going to the restaurant or waiting in line, is tell the person in front of him, or it's like last night in the hotel room they keep banging on my door and they keep waking me up and I couldn't sleep. So I stood up and I let her out of the room. But he would do that in every line, and obviously, I mean, it's crazy because he would like make up a whole story about letting his wife out of the room, and he would like entertain himself so much doing that whole show for like that one or two people in front of us, and his goal was always to get a reaction out of me, so that I would like feel uncomfortable or be mad or anything, and I know so everything. So that he loved, but he kept on trying on the cruise. It was like we had friends with us, and he was like an ice cold, and he loved it. He couldn't break me. So that was part of the experience, and because he really wanted a writer that would spend time with him and go to the bar with him and sing karaoke with him. So that's amazing. There's one night we went out in Florida where he actually signed the song in French by Alice Lobby, Laissez-moi encore chanter. And that's one of my favorite Pat Patterson moments because I could have sworn he said, let me still wrestle. Because it was all about, being able to perform again in front of the public. There was like 5 people in the bar, but he was so amazing singing. That was a great experience. And I was on the last world tour of Pat Patterson promoting the book, so that was fun.
Awesome. So out of all the books that you wrote, is there one that was the most tough to write? Which one was it?
Difficult. I mean, probably the first one because it took 5 years putting it together and then getting it published. Once you get published, then they actually believe you can actually put out a book. So it gets easier actually. So it was getting the published part that was difficult with the first one, with Madame and Screwjob. And strangely enough, it still stings that we had to get published in English to talk about the history of Quebec wrestling.
Yeah.
And then, like that, we had a French publisher.
Okay.
That had already turned us down before, so.
All right. You all know your son is now in the wrestling business. My good guy, Zach Patterson.
Yeah, the diamond.
Diamond, the only diamond in Quebec. So
He's not paying you for that, huh?
Oh yeah, you're paying me for that. For
You
sure.
sure?
Yeah.
Sure.
He already wrestled Jay White, I think it's 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and now he's gonna wrestle Matt Riddle. Can you tell us about pretty big career already for Zach Patterson?
I'm slowly becoming Zach's dad instead of Zach's being my son. So that's kind of different, but it's cool. I mean, he loved wrestling since he was this tall, and I was involved with NCW, so he grew up around the business and around the guys. So most of them took to him right away, and he worked so hard. I mean, he was in the gym 5 years before he even put on a pair of boots and started his training. So from there, it's just been quite the ride. The match with Jay White was quite the experience. He didn't sleep for 24 hours before it.
I can imagine.
And hopefully, in Quebec City, June 15th for that match at the Pavillon de Jeunesse for NSPW with Matt Riddle. I mean, he's going to give everything he has, and hopefully, we'll keep on getting noticed. So that's the name of the game. We're going to get noticed.
What's the next step for him?
Right, I think the next step would be to get the long-term booking in Japan or in Europe. He'll get different experience, get his name out there further than Canada and East Coast in the US. That's the next step, but that's the hard step, but we're working on it.
He already wrestled to Ring of Honor recently, so.
Yeah, he got booked. It was like the first time with all of them. So he had the match with Ring of Honor on that thing. So I think it went pretty well. I actually saw the match with commentary last night, so it's already out. On the club, I believe. So it was. I think he did pretty good. And he actually had minutes in that match to get himself noticed. Because the last time they had about 2 minutes
I think it's Toronto, huh?
Yeah, the last time was that one. It was a 3 against 3, and it lasted. He was in there 20 seconds, and it was over. Now he had at least a good 5 minutes, so I think he was able to show off a little bit. So that's good. So he's still young. He's gonna turn 24 this summer.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah.
And don't forget, he arrested Ronda Rousey, TJ.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You have any other sons coming up in the business, or
Not yet, but I have another son that dreams of wrestling. So who
Yeah.
knows?
what would you think would be like
Taking him to
your
shock school?
No.
no?
You had school,
What thing would you like for Quebec wrestling to get better at in the next year or two?
Quebec wrestling in general.
In general, yeah.
I mean,
Your wish.
my wish is always that we get better.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the phrase that says support indie wrestling, but I like support good indie wrestling.
Yeah, true.
So it's trying to be better, get better. People get in the gym, get some good looking gear, get good music, good production values on your shows, things of that nature. I mean, it's the name of the game. I mean, I was at WrestleMania this year. The spectacle in itself, but how the storyline and everything came together. I mean, that Cody storyline, they struck gold and they built on it so much. That sight of the relief in the stadium when he finally did win, that was real. So, and that's what we need to strive for. We, present something that feels real, that blurs that line between fiction and reality.
And we're talking about the next book. What's the next book for?
That's going to be quite the book. It's going to be, I mean, unless it changes, it's going to be Who Killed Dino Bravo.
Oh, okay. Everybody's in a hush now all of a sudden.
We've been sleeping on that for 10 years.
Okay.
When we started the promotion for this book, we actually met someone at a show in Montreal. Right, the guy you met last night, who told me you got your number to speak about Dino. Yeah, and 10 years ago, the guy comes up to us and he tells us, well, I know who did it. And from there, the past 10 years, we've been working on that clue and that information. So we do have some answers. The thing is what our lawyers are going to allow us to say or not say, but we have a much clearer picture of what happened back then. And I mean, we have full support from the family, so hopefully we'll have different. It's going to be a different book because it's going to be built around the true crime story.
Are you gonna get into all that? Because that's some pretty heavy shit you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're not worried about anything, because I know that
Well,
there's still a big
there's only one guy left that's still alive.
And he's not connected no more.
That's what we need to figure out. But
Figure that out before you.
we're 2 years away from the book. So yeah, I know. I don't drive a car, so I feel safe. But Pat, my partner, feels less safe. Yes. Yeah, I mean, we've heard stories so far where Dino could go into any bar, drink for free, and people would try him, but only once, and then it was over. So and you knew him after the heel turn and but when he was in the early '80s, the big star in Montreal, he was Hulk Hogan in that market. It was amazing. And
Larry's a true tough guy too.
Too, yeah. And that's going to be different and fun. And I loved Dino when I was young, and it's just something. It's like the Andre the Giant book, to be able to give more than just the character, to have a little bit what what was Andre Roussemoff's life. Okay, who was Adolfo Luciano and all of that, and what happened to Dino Bravo in the end. I think that's something that's a story that needs to be told.
Sounds great. Wait to hear it.
Yeah.
See the book.
For sure.
Anybody has questions for Bertrand? Anybody qui a des questions pour Bertrand Hebert? Anybody?
From France to here.
Brian's got a question for Bert.
That's what he told me.
You got a question for Bert?
I was just asking about Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Andre did come here first in America, but after that, I mean, he was already a major star in France, and he was actually a very, very good wrestler. Like, he was trained classic. You know, he could do anything. Yeah, and when he came here, I mean, he became here a very big star, and he jump-started the Grand Prix wrestling as an opposition to the other territory, which was the As David of the Russo family. And from there, I mean, they were drawing on television. 2 million people were watching wrestling every week during that time.
Before they ever did. He would go to all over the country as the big star.
Yeah.
All the other countries besides America and from Canada. I mean, he was all over the world. His size, and he drew a big following in Japan also.
I mean, Andre was an attraction like no others. And I think we give him a little justice in the book of more than what just people knew on the outside. We talked to a lot of people from Mean Gene to Rick Martel to everybody that we had met over the last 10 years of doing those books, and it was important to, you know, bring something more than what was already out there. So, and you know, the pictures as well. There's a lot of pictures that I've never seen the light of days before, and that's part of the fun of getting those books out.
How old were you when you did this? And you got Mad Dog on there too.
Yeah, we did this one 10 years ago, so that was like 93 that came out. And was it 2013? I'm sorry, 2013. 2013. So I was 42. I'm 52 now.
That's awesome. You learn about some good characters, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. There is no more proudest moment in my life than when Pat Patterson told me that I knew wrestling. So after that, I'm good. I can be tired. So after that, I was good. So from there, it's just, you know, it's a passion. I mean, I've been a fan for over 40 years. I love this. I want to learn more every time I'm doing something. So the books just came in at the right time for me to do something different than the business itself, and we've made some great connection through the years and build on you know, a good credibility with guys. So it's fun when you call someone, and you know, Mean Gene came to Comic-Con in Montreal. Some people saw us there. And after that, we had the interview about Andre, and he was so open about it and so happy to talk to us. So it's still, Rick Martel called me this morning, and I'm still like, oh, Rick is calling. It's still like, you know, he was my idol, and now he's calling me on Saturday morning. So it's kind of weird, but it's a sign of respect that those guys have that kind of connection to us now. Or when Pat was like, he's like texting me from the gorilla position at Raw and said, "Well, how does the show look on TV?"
It's like a TV show.
Yeah. You know, it's like, whoa, okay, that's a good compliment, and it was a lot of fun. And I never took it for granted, and it's just, you know, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm good. I think I'm good. I wish my son the best in what he wants to do, because he loves it so much and he wants to make it a success. For me, I accomplished so much more than I ever thought possible at some point. So, you know, I'm really proud of what we did. I really shoot for the next book to be very special because we do have that answer. So what can we put out there? That's going to be a big thing because, you know, I remember that morning when Dino was killed and it was everywhere in the papers, everywhere on television. And we went years thinking, well, we'll never know. And you know, that answer dropped on us 10 years ago, and we were able to do interviews and ask questions and poke around and get more info and confirm stuff and spoke with people, worked with Dino in that cigarette business. So it's like, okay, we're like over 30 years after. Okay, maybe there is time to get some answers out there.
Well, I'd like to thank you for this interview. It was really quick and really fun. So thank you very much. People buy his books. They're great. There's more coming up. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Toujours un plaisir.